Time now to welcome our guests. Two eminent guests joining us. Akshay Raut, former DG, Election Commission, joining us on the Great Indian Election. We've got Aditi Tandon, Senior Associate Editor from the Tribune, joining us this evening. Let me first come to you, Mr. Raut. Looking at numbers once again, we are still provincial numbers that we're looking at 57%, especially with Maharashtra, Uttar Pradesh voting today. Numbers don't seem to be good. Once again, of the 7 phases that we have seen, 6 phases happen to take place, elections or voting happens to take place on a Saturday or a Monday or a Friday. Is that a cause of concern for the Election Commission to rethink, especially when it comes to keeping, voting days, close to the weekend?
Let me address this, Anil, first. Thank you very much. If the voting is on a Saturday or Monday, that gives an excuse or an opportunity, if you call it in a very dark sense, for the urbanites to move into some type of holiday. But that doesn't explain the whole thing, because the making of an election schedule is a very complex subject to handle. And it has many other things to look at when the final schedule is drawn up. But just to say that, okay, they have an extended holiday, that's why they must go out to Laval or some other place, that doesn't exempt the urbanites of the democratic duties that they have and the right that they need to exercise. So I'm not a believer in that these are the excuses for the people not to be part. And if they don't do, it's pretty wrong, actually. Now, coming to the aggregate, which is very important. In fact, this particular phase, the 5th phase, is definitely a bit of a downside. See, till 4th phase, we are talking about an overall accumulated 66% turnout, which is actually good. It is one of the best 3 in India's electoral participation history. But now, as expectedly, you just mentioned, and your reporters so nicely summed it up. Again, the Maharashtra and particularly the urban centers like Mumbai, Nasik, Thane have expectedly disappointed us. Because the votes remain at the level of say 45-47%, which is nothing much creditable for these cities. Mind you, I acknowledge that the Election Commission in fact called the metro commissioners into a huddle all over India, Mumbai included, just to make sure that how higher level of facilitation information can be done. And your reporter was saying that they also have polling booths in the high-rise buildings.
True.
That doesn't really break the apathy. I'll just make one more point. I think these ladies and gentlemen, whoever they are in urban, middle class or all educated, qualified, and economically well, they should learn from Baramulla. This is like Baramulla, which has a difficult, some type of challenging past. And incredible. They have come to the level of 55% turnout. Incredible. And that is also likely to rise a little more. That gives a lot of confidence not only to the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, it shows what do they want of election and the democratic participation. Because they have a chapter to tell people who are sort of more comfortably placed in a way in places like Mumbai, Nasik, or other urban centers in India as well.
Aditi, the numbers that one talks about, we've been trying to find reasons for this low turnout. But, flip that as, let me flip that question for you. Is that too much to choose when it comes to the voters in Mumbai in particular, the Maharashtra, the 13 seats in Maharashtra where voting was held, and you're looking at good numbers to come from at least maximum city. Have they disappointed? Because, the voters somewhere at the end of the day are disappointed with the way the political parties are playing, politics over it.
No, of course, weather is one factor in the low voter turnout, but weather can't be the only factor, because a voter that is inspired and motivated to vote will come out and vote no matter what, whether there's rain or storm. So we have to come back to what you correctly said, that there is a sort of voter apathy, especially in Maharashtra. Anil, if you see the kind of political firmament we have seen with the split across 2 major parties of the state, the Nationalist Congress Party split, the Shiv Sena split. In fact, we have a situation in this election where even the Sharad Pawar family members do not know which side of the fence they stand. So even there's confusion in the top minds of top stalwarts. The election that we saw today in Maharashtra was very significant because out of 13 seats that have gone to polls in Maharashtra today, 7 were won by undivided Shiv Sena last time. So where is the contest? Contest is between Eknath Shinde and Uddhav Thackeray. So I do agree with you that there is this kind of voter disenchantment also with what is happening, with the way Indian polity is going, also with the shrillness of the campaigns. Perhaps voters do not feel that enough of their issues are being raised, or maybe it is for the Election Commission really to figure out what is going wrong with the voter percentage, because that is a sign of healthy democracy.
Mr. Raut, also looking at numbers now, as we move further into phase 6 and 7, we still haven't got the final numbers, but looking at phase 6 and 7, what's the challenge? We've got a little over 100 seats left. What's the challenge, first of all, before the political parties? Because this is going to leave everyone confused on the evening at 6 p.m. on the 1st of June, though everyone would be out with the numbers and trying to dissect it, it's going to leave every political party at the edge of the seat when you look at these numbers, and not great response from the voters when they when it comes to they coming out and voting and pressing the EVM machine.
Aditya was right, because political contestation is a reality. I think you can't rule out. I think that's the major push force for the voters. Having said that, Maharashtra never had a great history of electoral participation, by the way. There could be various reasons for that, and particularly the urban centers. In Maharashtra, we should not forget that it's a very urbanized state. And so the issue of urban apathy, which we also saw in places like Bengaluru, Hyderabad, Ahmedabad, and so on. So these are, this is a reality one has to fight in as many ways as one could. Like the Election Commission has did something called targeted turnout plan, pushing information, motivation, and facilitation, all three. Perhaps everyone needs to do more. Let me point out one thing. To the first phase poll, when there was a little dip in turnout, serious dip in turnout, everyone pushed the envelope. Political parties, Election Commission pushed it big time, and Aditya was very right. The heat is being over. It's not a factor. In fact, the IMD predictions for this particular phase was most of the places it was normal. In some places there were hot weather conditions for which Election Commission brought in some interventions. So you asked me the pointed question, Anil, about the next two phases. Next two phases also include places like Delhi, Gurgaon, and urban centers. So I'll be again worried, because the history of turnout of these urban centers, which are again concentrated, say in 6th and 7th phase, has not been great. So it requires the citizens to muster up their democratic spirit, their respect for election, their consciousness of their own right and duty, come and vote. Otherwise, if you look, Bihar and UP, they have certain other type of difficulties. They have been inching towards 60%, falling short of that. But otherwise, most of the village areas in India, they have been voting reasonably well. I'll be again concerned about the urban centers in 6th and 7th phase.
Okay.